สวัสดีค่ะก็คือวันนี้เดี๋ยวเจ้าหน้าที่ของคันฟิลจะมาเริ่มพรีเซนต์เกี่ยวกับเรื่องการเรียนต่อแล้วก็เรื่องการหางานทำใน UK เลยนะคะน้องๆสามารถฟังแล้วก็ถ้าเกิดคนไหนมีคำถามสามารถที่จะพิมพ์คำถามในแชทบล็อกได้ค่ะ Yeah, we can start.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen. That's okay.
I can't hear you.
Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you hear me? Thank you very much. So hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Jill Drew. I am an associate professor in geographical systems and director of education within the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Sciences at Cranfield University. I'm really pleased to be with you today and to talk to you a little bit about Cranfield and about some of the courses that we offer. So Cranfield is, in my mind, a very special university. We focus on creating leaders in technology and management. And the university has been around for about 75 years now. It is one of the UK's top research institutions. And what is very special about Cranfield is that we are postgraduate only. So we do not offer undergraduate courses on our Cranfield campus. And so we focus on teaching MSc students and also the research degrees such as an MSc by research and PhD students. We do have world-class and quite unique facilities. So we are one of the very few universities that has our own airport. And because of our heritage and our links, we work very closely with industry. And many of our student projects are in association with industry and are funded by industry. Cranfield University doesn't work in, is not divided up into departments like many other universities. Instead, we are focused on thematic areas. And so we have these particular themes within the university. So our themes here are aerospace, defense and security, energy and sustainability, environment and agri-food, manufacturing and materials, our School of Management, transport systems, and water. And you will see that these themes are aligned with particular industry sectors as well. And that links to the way that we work very closely with industry. And also what you will find is, for example, in our water theme, you might find chemical engineers, but also environmental scientists and so on working together to try and provide real solutions around sustainability and providing sustainable solutions to some of the key global challenges that we're facing at the moment. So where is Cranfield located? So here we have a map of the United Kingdom. And Cranfield is located in Bedfordshire in England. So we are situated approximately between London and Birmingham. This means that we're also between two key cities. So we have the city of Bedford and the city of Milton Keynes, and we're approximately in the middle of those two. So if you see on the map, you see the big dot there for Cranfield. And so there's a really good train link from London through to Birmingham, which stops at Milton Keynes. You can also go from London up to Bedford, and then there are buses from either of those to the Cranfield campus. So the campus offers a very safe environment, and we also have a number of facilities on campus. So we have a sports and fitness centre, we have shops and restaurants and a post office on campus. We also have quite a vibrant Cranfield social activities. So we have a number of clubs and societies. And what's really special about Cranfield is if you come to Cranfield and we don't have a club or society, but there's a group of you that are very keen on that particular activity, you can actually approach the Cranfield Students Association and they will start a new club or society for you. And we also have a variety of on-campus accommodation. So this ranges from a small number of homes for families, which are particularly focused on our PhD students, down to traditional student accommodation. In addition, there is also opportunities to live in some of the local villages or in the cities nearby. There is quite a bit of student accommodation available. So some of the key facts and figures around Cranfield University. So because of our postgraduate only focus, you'll see that we actually have one of the best student to staff ratios. So typically we would have one member of staff to 8 students, which is one of the best ratios for any university in the UK. So this means that you have unparalleled access to the academics who will support you as you go through your studies at Cranfield. We also have the largest collection of soil and water scientists in the UK. 88% of our research is classified as world leading or internationally excellent. We're also 7th in the UK for engineering research power. And one of the other things is that our campus is very multicultural, and we have approximately 5,000 postgraduates from over 100 countries. In addition, our staff actually at Cranfield are also very multinational. So we have staff from many of those countries around the world as well. So it is a very vibrant and multicultural environment, and it's very, very welcoming to everyone on campus. So what's different about Cranfield is because we focus on postgraduate only, all of the staff here are experts in delivering that higher level, that level 7 as we call it. So we're focused on making sure that what you are taught is based on our world leading research. But we also engage actively with industry, and that means we are able to adapt our courses quite quickly to look at what is happening in the industry and the job market needs. So a really good example at the moment is there's a big focus on hydrogen as an energy vector within the UK. And so a lot of our courses are actually evolving to ensure that you would be given that cutting edge knowledge around hydrogen. We have an excellent careers team, and we support you in your own personal development. So it's not just around, developing your technical expertise throughout our courses and also some of the activities around that. We focus on making sure that you are ready for employment. We also have our student experience team who are very much working with you and trying to understand what you as a student need and ensuring that you can get involved in helping us to co-create these different approaches. We also focus on what's known as authentic assessment strategies. So this means that many of the assessments that you will do is not based on theory. It's very much applied. So we would be giving you case studies that are focused on real problems that industry have come to us. So we work with industry, they bring us a problem, and we will adapt that to allow you to learn from that experience. And a lot of the time you will be taught by industry experts, and you will sometimes have the opportunity to work with industry on your research projects. And key for Cranfield is also ensuring that we are embedding sustainability across our curriculum, our research themes, and our operations. So sustainability is a high profile for us. We recognize that all of us need to play a role in tackling these global challenges. And so all of our courses are mapped to sustainability, and we focus on teaching you the skills needed to overcome those challenges. So typically all of our courses follow a very similar overall structure. So you will start off when you join us in October. So our new students will be arriving next week, actually. And you will typically have a talk program, which consists of mostly 80 credits. So typically that would be 10 credit modules. The majority of those modules run where you're taught in the first week, so it's very intensive. So you'll be in lectures from 9 till 5:30 every day in that first week. And that first week may involve lectures, seminars, maybe you'll have some practical work in that. The second week of your module is largely free for you to work on your assignments. So it's very much a focus on you being an independent researcher and starting to develop your own assignments yourself, with often some tutorials available to support you. At the end of those 2 weeks, you'll submit your assignment, and the next 2 weeks will be focused on your next module. So it's very intensive during that talk program, which runs from October to February. At the end of that time, you'll move on to your group project. And this is focused during March and April. And here is where you're given the opportunity to put that knowledge from the taught modules into practice. So here you will be working on a project, typically with 4 to 6 students, and it's your project to manage. And this is where we focus on giving you the opportunity to learn those professional skills such as project management. So you'll be given some introductions to those skills and then given opportunity to implement those skills throughout. So the focus here is on working with industry on a real problem that you yourself get to manage and deliver with the support of an academic supervisor. So one of the things we're often told by our students when they finish is that the group project is the hardest part of the MSc, but it's also the most valuable. And we believe that this group project and the way we run it is quite unique in the UK. And alongside that, you're also given a personal coaching session as well, which helps you to really think about what are the skills that you need to develop and how can you do that through the course of the group project. The final stage of the MSc is your individual thesis. So this is where you will work with an academic supervisor. You'll get the opportunity to define your own project. You will be given research training, and you will then work from May to September on that research project in order to deliver. We do offer some opportunity to work with industry. So sometimes we have students who do go on an internship as part of this, and some of them are working with our existing clients on a particular project that has been offered. But also you have the opportunity to define your own project working with your academic supervisor. In addition to our taught MSc degrees, you can also undertake a research degree. So Cranfield offers an MSc by research, which is a 1-year degree, a Masters of Philosophy, which is a 2-year research degree, and our PhD, which is 3 years and is the most popular research degree. Here you will work over a course of 3 years to start off by reading the literature and defining your project in detail. Typically over the second year, you'll be focused on data collection and doing your experimental work. In your third, you'll finish off your experimental work, do your analysis, and write up your thesis. And at the end of it, you are examined through an oral viva, which is a sort of oral examination, but a discussion with 2 academics. And so that's the typical timeline of a full-time PhD, but obviously some of our other elements may follow slightly different structures. But you will be working with a small cohort of like-minded PhD students. Everybody at Cranfield is postgraduates, so there's very much a strong focus on treating it like a job. So there's a very focused environment. And because we have such a good staff to student ratio, you're well supported with 2 academic supervisors throughout your research degree. So Cranfield is very much focused on the Sustainable Development Goals and working towards trying to identify where we as a university can help to support the solutions to some of these global challenges. So for example, we have a water theme, which is very much focused around SDG 6, clean water and sanitation. We also have our energy and sustainability theme, which is looking at how can we improve the way that fossil fuel energy is developed and used. So how can we make it cleaner, but also focus very much on renewable energy. So we're looking at solar energy, we're looking at floating solar farms, but also offshore wind and so on. But across that, we do work on a lot of these other ones. So we have our courses in food. So we're looking at SDG 2, looking at trying to reduce hunger and so on. So you'll see that all of our courses are mapped to some of these different sustainable development goals. So by coming to Cranfield, you will learn the skills that will help you to go out onto a career where you can help to tackle these global challenges. So I'm now going to take the opportunity to talk to you a little bit more about some of the key themes in at Cranfield. So I'm going to focus on environment and agri-food, water and energy, and then I'll talk to you a bit about and highlight some of the courses that we run. So our environment and agri-food theme is focused on a lot of these global challenges. So looking at things such as obviously climate change is a key one. So we have a number of academics that are looking at climate change. They're looking at monitoring and trying to improve our understanding of the greenhouse gases, for example, but actually also trying to understand what is the impacts of some of these changes. So we're looking at things like biodiversity and ecology. Alongside that, we're also looking at things such as how do we improve policy? How do we interact with businesses to help them reduce their impacts on the environment? And also we're working on agri-food. So food security is a key thing. We need to ensure that we can continue to feed the global population while reducing the impacts of that. And so, for example, our food academics are looking at how can we improve, for example, storage of things like potatoes, so that we can be able to store the food for longer. And here you'll see some of the key organizations that our environment and agri-food team work with. So they work very closely with industry. We're working with local farmers and even working with companies such as McDonald's as well and PepsiCo to help improve the way that they manage their environmental impacts and improve the sustainability of food production. So some of the key facilities we have, I actually love our lab. So you can see here a photo of that. We've got these fantastic windows that you can see and look out onto the campus. So we have the Cranfield Urban Observatory. So this is quite a unique facility where we have a number of different sensors such as air pollution and weather monitoring sensors around our campus. So you can actually go and look real time as to what is happening on the environment in and around our campus. We have our plant science laboratory. So for example, here you can see we have them looking at things such as, for example, how does fungi or mycotoxins impact on food? And also testing things such as how can we manage the storage. So we've got a number of specialist facilities where we can store food at different temperatures. We can monitor them at different, for example, carbon dioxide facilities. We've also got our own greenhouses, which are filled with different types of sensors. So we can actually monitor the growth of different crops under different conditions within our own greenhouses. Alongside that, we have a number of more digital facilities. So we have Landis, which is our land information system. And also we have a number of other digital assets that are maintained at Cranfield. One of the most interesting things is our facility for airborne atmospheric measurements. So this is actually an aircraft that is based at the Cranfield Airport. And this is equipped with a number of different analytical instruments. This flies around the world, looking at the differences in atmospheric pollutants at different heights. So about 14, 15 years ago, there was a volcano that erupted over Iceland, and the volcanic dust cloud actually shut down many of the airports in and around Europe. And this was the only plane that was allowed to fly at that time because it was actually monitoring and measuring the volcanic dust cloud as it crossed Europe. So energy and sustainability, again, energy is one of those key things. We know that the traditional fossil fuels create a lot of carbon dioxide, and that has quite an impact on our global climate change. So what we've been doing there is we focus on looking at how can we reduce the impacts from fossil fuels. So we're looking at things such as carbon capture and storage, recognizing that actually in the transition to net zero, we may still need to use some of those traditional fossil fuels. So how can we reduce the impacts of those? But also a very strong focus on renewable energies as well. So we are looking at wind, solar, and how can we improve those technologies? And so within energy, we have a large number of quite unique facilities. So here you'll see this picture actually shows our wave tank. Here what we're doing in our wave tank is we can create small um, case studies or prototypes of different types of, for example, wave or offshore wind turbine plants. We can put them into our wave tank and we can then test it at different wave heights and wave frequencies to see um, how that how those prototypes might survive out in the real world. And we also have our hydrogen plant and many rigs where we're looking at, for example, carbon capture and storage. So how can we actually capture um, carbon dioxide along with traditional combustion and gasification plants? So we've been looking at, for example, the impact of using different types of fuels, such as biofuels, on in traditional combustion and gasification turbines. So what we're trying to do is to see, can we improve the way, can we use those non-traditional fuels in traditional plants, and what's the impact on the longevity of those plants as well? Um, our water is, again, water is one of those things, we need water to live alongside food and energy. And a lot of the time, what we're facing worldwide is a shortage of water, but also sometimes a shortage of clean water or access to clean and sanitation. Alongside that, if we're looking to develop water systems, we need to try and do that so that um, those water systems are not having a negative impact. So we're looking for net zero water systems and a transition to that circular economy. Again, we have very close links to many of the water industries in the UK, and you will have an opportunity to see these types of facilities. So Cranfield does have quite unique facilities. So here you have a picture of our water treatment facility. So we actually have a sewage treatment works on campus. And this is a test bed for a number of different processes. So here we are testing different ways to treat water and sewage to reduce further impacts and to make it energy efficient, but also to produce useful outputs from that. So can we turn sewage sludge into a useful fertilizer, for example? So we have a number of different laboratories and so on that you can access and as part of, particularly in your group project or in your thesis project. We also have a unique community of design engineers which value the idea of design thinking. And so what we're trying to do here is to think about how can we reduce the impacts from a number of different products by thinking about designing them for sustainability from the start. So this is a very interactive community. We have our own facilities where you work with our designers. So in this picture here, you can see Professor Leon Terry in the background there, really working with the students closely. And in terms of designing, we have facilities such as our 3D printing machines. So this is our Centre for Design Engineering eco building. And we've done the things such as redesigning toilets and creating a flushless toilet that is part of a product for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We also have a number of technical workshops with rapid prototyping equipment, where basically what you can do is you can design something, you can create a prototype, and you can also do things such as testing the strength of that prototype. So effectively, you get to make something and then break it or try to break it. So we have our courses are largely split into our science and management focused courses. So here we have our advanced GIS and remote sensing. So here we'll talk to you about and teach you about geographical information systems and remote sensing and how these can be used to identify and manage different types of environmental issues. We have our applied bioinformatics course and our data science and artificial intelligence for sustainability courses. So those three courses will teach you different approaches to looking at data science, informatics, and how you can use these types of tools and techniques to really manage and identify global environmental challenges. The environmental management for business course is really focused on understanding how we can work with organizations to identify and reduce the environmental impacts. And our global environmental change and planetary health course is focused on identifying those global environmental changes, but incorporated that idea of planetary health. And in terms of planetary health, we're talking about not just about the health of ecosystems, but actually how does that impact on the health of human communities? And how does, so all of these feedbacks and loops and things are built into that course. And then we have our two food courses. So we have food systems and management, which is our more technical course based on sort of some of the laboratory skills, and future food sustainability, which is our more management focused food course. We then have our group of science and engineering focused MSc courses. So we have advanced chemical engineering and advanced mechanical engineering. Both of those are focused on teaching you chemical or mechanical engineering skills. A lot of the examples we use are around energy, so improving our energy efficiency, but the core skills you use are applicable to either the chemical or environmental or mechanical engineering fields. Our environmental engineering course is focused on identifying solutions to environmental engineering problems. So we look at things such as air pollution, waste management, remediation of contaminated land, and so on. Now, our water and wastewater processes and renewable energy courses, they both look at water and wastewater and obviously renewable energy. What's quite unique about these two courses is we have two routes through each of those. So you have the option to choose a slightly different route once you do those courses. So on the water and wastewater processes course, you can focus on core engineering skills. So this is thinking about the design and development of, for example, water treatment processes. How do you maximize the efficiency of those? Or you can focus on the environmental science route, which looks more at understanding things such as how do you understand water quality and how do you improve water quality? So if perhaps you're not quite an engineer, but you're really interested in water, then you can focus on the environmental science route. Similarly, with the renewable energy course, we have an engineering route. Again, this is focused on design and optimization of renewable energy systems, or the management route, which focuses on management of those. And this covers things such as thinking about the environmental impacts, thinking about some of the legal, policy, and economic aspects, but also the health and safety side of renewable energy systems. So finally, we also have our research degrees. So our MSc by research is a one-year degree, but we also have a three-year PhD as well. And we do have a number of funded research opportunities, which would always be advertised on our website. So here I've tried to give you examples of some of our group and thesis projects. So hopefully you can look at these and you can read through those, but you'll see there's quite a variety of topics. And remember, these are multidisciplinary groups. So you may be working with people from the water courses, but from the food courses as well. So for example, we've got a course that a group project there was look at hygiene profiling of a McDonald's restaurant. We've looked at things such as working with Heathrow Airport on a user-centric design strategy. So this is thinking about how do people move through the airport, so to improve the journey of people using the airport. So we've had a group project on surface water management, but also looking at green hydrogen and biomass conversion for biofuel production. So some of our thesis projects looking at lighting solutions, again, to improve the environment for people with eye problems, looking at wetland treatments, so nature-based solutions to reduce water pollution, and also life cycle analysis of hydrogen for a fuel cell aircraft. So hopefully you've been able to read some of those, but you'll see there's quite a variety of options there, and they are quite focused on those solutions, working with industry, and the group projects are very much focused on multidisciplinary. So you will be working with people from different backgrounds, people who are doing different degrees, and the idea is to bring those skills together to tackle one of these challenges. So I'm sure many of you will be thinking, well, I've got this type of background. Am I suitable for one of these courses? So here's just an example of where some of our learners have come from. So what are their undergraduate degrees? And you'll see they've come from sort of pure engineering down to biological sciences, computer sciences, geography, but also people from the sort of the business, social science, and design aspects will come and do our degrees. So actually, with these degrees that we offer, there is a number of different opportunities for you. So if you've got a particular background and you're not sure if you are suitable for one of the courses, then we do have admissions tutors who would be able to have a discussion with you and help you to guide you to choose the right course based on your background, so that we know that you've got the skills to help you cope with that course. But we can also think about where do you want to go? So what's your ideal role once you've completed your Cranfield MSc degree? And so if you're thinking, well, where do people go from Cranfield? Well, here's an example of some of the companies that our students have gone on to work for. So, for example, with energy, you'll see there's things such as British Gas and Coca-Cola, Jaguar Land Rover, Scottish Power, and even Unilever. Our environment and agri-food have gone to work for companies such as PepsiCo, Deloitte. So that's some of the major consultancies. Again, Unilever, Airbus, um, and that type. Water sciences, you'll see many of our students do go straight into the United Kingdom water industries, but also working with DEFRA, which is the Department for Environmental and Rural Affairs in the UK, also working for the World Bank or for consultancy firms such as Atkins and McDonald's. And our design students have gone, for example, to work for, again, Unilever, the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and companies such as Electrolux. So I hope that's given you some real insight into Cranfield University and to some of the courses that we offer. Here in this slide, we've got some of the ways that you can get in touch with us. And I believe that we'll be now moving on to a Q&A session. So I'm happy to take any questions that you might have. Thank you very much.
น้องๆคนไหนมีคำถามสามารถพิมพ์คำถามในแชทบ็อกซ์ได้เลยนะคะหรือจะส่งเป็นdirect message ให้ทางพี่ก็ได้ค่ะ I get question from students. Um, yeah. Um, for IELTS, are you accept one skill retake IELTS?
So we our minimum English requirement is an IELTS
Mhm.
6.5.
Yes.
But we also do accept a number of other, so we do accept the TOEFL and some of the
Mhm.
other activities. On our website, we do have a list of the acceptable English language and
Mhm.
also the minimum requirement for each of those. So if you go
Mhm.
to our website and look at study, there is a section about
Mhm.
international students, and all the information about the acceptable English language tests is available on our website.
Thank you. Um, for the scholarships, um, have scholarships for September 2025 is announced yet?
We haven't actually announced our scholarships for September 25 yet.
Mhm.
So I believe that will be available within the next few weeks.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
On our website, we do have a scholarship finder as well. So
Mhm.
once the information is released, that will be available on our website.
Mhm. Okay. น้องๆมีคำถามอื่นๆอีกไหมคะ
I can see that my colleague Lauren has actually put the links for the
Yes.
English language and
Yeah,
fees
thank
into the
you.
chat for anybody.
Yes.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah, thank you. Um, I get some questions about accommodations. Um, for majority of students, they are live in on-campus accommodation or they live on a private accommodation.
The majority of our students do live on campus.
Mhm,
It is our accommodation is quite popular. So if you want
mhm,
to live on campus, you do need to apply early as well.
mhm,
So there is typically a deadline for that,
mhm.
but the majority of students live on campus. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. น้องๆคนไหนมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมอีกไหมคะ questions? It's about living costs in Canfield. Can you compare with other city? Is cheaper than in London, and how much it is? Mm,
Um, so there would be information. There's typical costs again on our
mhm.
website,
Yes.
but typically living costs at Cranfield would be cheaper than living in London. London is probably the most expensive city in
Mhm.
the UK.
Yeah. For MSc marketing, um, if students not have background in marketing but in other field of business, you still consider them?
Um, I would advise the best approach for them is to contact the relevant
Mhm.
admissions tutor or course director. Um,
Okay.
so they would be able to most clearly point them to
Mhm.
the right degree for them.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. น้องๆคนไหนมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมไหมคะสามารถพิมพ์มาในแชทบอกได้นะคะ เคค่ะ ถ้าเกิดไม่มีคำถามเพิ่มเติมแล้วก็คือทางพี่แล้วก็ทางเจ้าหน้าที่ Cranfield ก็คือจะปิด Presentation วันนี้แล้วนะคะ ถ้าเกิดใครมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมหลังจากนี้สามารถติดต่อทาง Counselor ของ SIUK หรือว่าสามารถที่จะ contact ทางมหาวิทยาลัย Cranfield ต่อได้นะคะค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะสำหรับวันนี้ค่ะ Yeah thank you thank you for your presentation
Thank you.
Yeah thank you
Thanks, Jill. Thanks,
Yeah
Meg.
thank you Yeah thank you
Thank you. Right.
Yeah
Bye-bye.
goodbye